Hey, kings and queens. Hey, kings and queens. I am live on TikTok and YouTube on my computer. So bear with me if it looked like my eyes are all over the place. I'm just looking at both platforms. I wanted to come and check in. I did a first time home buyer webinar today, and it was amazing. And I wanted to just check in because I haven't been live in a while. How y'all doing over here on TikTok? How is everybody doing on YouTube? Just wanted to check in and come on live and talk about the real estate market because there is a lot going on. It's still the interest rates. Let's start with that. Interest rates are going down. We have the lowest interest rates that we've had in the last 3 years. Now, are they COVID low? Like, are they 3%, 2.95%? No, but they are the lowest that we've seen in the last 3 years. So let's start there. If you bought your house within the last 3 years, it is possible that I can help you save some money on your mortgage right now. So feel free to inbox me to comment here. If you have any questions, I'm here. I'm reading the comments. So you can definitely ask here or you can inbox me and we can talk about interest rates. We know interest rate has been the hot topic over the last couple of years. They are steadily declining. Um, there is a lot of uncertainty in our country right now. There's a lot going on. And I know a lot of people are asking, should I buy now? Should I wait? Um, there's always a discussion. And I went over that in my webinar. Like one of the biggest things that first time home buyers, mistakes they make wait is they're waiting for one thing or another. You're waiting until the interest rates go down. You're waiting till your lease ends. You're waiting until the economy gets better. You're waiting. And all of that waiting could cause you to lose uh, valuable equity you can be building in your home. So if you feel like you are in the financial situation, you have a stable job, you have some money saved up, you have decent credit, then waiting only prolongs the investment. Waiting only prolongs the amount of equity you could build. So let me give you an example of how equity builds in the DMV area. This is one of the largest building um, areas in the United States because of where we are. This is a hot spot for a lot of professionals. So houses are guaranteed to keep their value. Houses are guaranteed to go up in value. So your house going up in value guarantees you building equity into your house. So if you don't own a house yet and you're waiting to own, in a year's time, you could have lost out on money. So here's an example of how fast equity builds in the DMV area. One of my girlfriend's sister bought a house in Washington, D.C., in Southeast, or how we say here, Southeast. She bought it Southeast in the wintertime. She bought like November, December. House was lovely, beautiful house. She was happy. But in the spring, when it started to warm up, her the neighborhood started to change. People started to come outside. They was outside. So what was happening was her area, they were standing outside in front of her house, they were drinking, they was leaving, beer bottles and liquor bottles out on the curb in front of her house. And she started to say, oh no, I gotta move. I can't do this. And she started to feel like she didn't want to be there anymore. The next following year, she waited and put her house on the market and she sold it. So she stayed there for 1 year. She bought it. So let's throw out some numbers. I don't know the exact number. She bought it for 250 in that area in November. The seller wanted to move and they negotiated that price. The following year, 1 year later, she sold that house for 350. She made $100,000 in 1 year. That's the power of real estate. So just imagine if you said, nah, I'm gonna wait till next year. I ain't quite ready. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. You could have lost out on $100,000. So that's the power of real estate. That's the power of buying in DC. So waiting is one of the biggest deterrents for first-time home buyers. Uh, when to buy? People say, "Oh, what's the best time to buy? In the spring, in the summer, in the winter?" The best time to buy is when you're ready. When you feel like you're ready, when you said, okay, I got enough money saved up, I got, I've been on my job forever, I make decent income, my rent that went up to $3,000 a month, I might as well be paying a mortgage, then you're ready. If you feel like, oh, I got decent credit. And when I say decent credit, 640 in this industry is decent credit, right? 640 or higher is where we want you to be to have a smooth transaction. However, you can buy using the FHA loan at 500, at a 580 score. So you don't have to be at 640, but 640 is where you want to aim if you're asking yourself, what should the ideal credit score be? 640 or higher. Of course, the higher it is, the better deal you're going to get, the less interest you're going to pay. But if you're at 640 or higher, because some people have a 660, 665 credit score and think their credit is bad. So that is not the case. You definitely qualify. 660 is ideal where we want you to be to get a decent interest rate and get a decent loan. So that's the biggest thing, waiting. There are a lot of houses available that's on the market. What does that mean for you as a first-time home buyer? That means that you are a first-time home buyer and it is now a buyer's market. So in a buyer's market, that means there are more houses on the market than there are buyers to buy them. Okay, that's what a buyer's market is. In the seller's market, that means that there's less homes in the market than there are, and it's more buyers. So that means you're going to be in bidding wars trying to get one house. We've been in the buyer's market for the last couple of years now, and that's good for you as a first-time home buyer because your realtor has room to negotiate. Your realtor has room to negotiate price, room to negotiate help from the seller, which we call seller concessions. So that's what it means to be in a buyer's market. So it's advantageous for you to get in while the market is hot and while it is geared towards buyers. It also means the more inventory out there available, the more choices you have, and what house you want to buy. Does that make sense? Hello, hey y'all, thank you for joining. So that's what it means to be in a buyer's market. So if you feel like you're ready, that's when it's time to buy a house. Winter, spring, summer, fall, when you feel like you're ready. If you feel like, "No, I'm not sure if I'm ready," that's when you pick up the phone and you have a conversation with the professional. You call me. Now, a lot of people say, I'm gonna call a realtor, I'm ready to buy a house. You can call a realtor, and your realtor is going to refer you to a lender to get yourself pre-approved. However, you can and should call your lender because your lender needs to pre-approve you first before you go shopping for a house. Now, what does your pre-approval look like? Pre-approval is where you would fill out an application with me. I will run your credit. I will look at your finances, your pay stubs, your business income if you're self-employed, and I will look at your job history and we'll calculate your debts versus your income, and I will give you the amount of how much house you can afford. Now, let's stop right there for a second. How much house can I afford is a loaded question because you may be able to afford $1 million house on paper, but do you want to pay for $1 million house? Do you want to pay eight, nine, $10,000 a month for a mortgage? So it's not only us gauging how much house you can afford, but it's also us gauging how much house you want to pay for and the type of house you should be looking for. So don't go out looking for houses if you're seriously, okay, I'm about to buy a house this month. You're so seriously contemplating that, get your pre-approval first so you can know your buying power. The worst thing you could do is look at $500,000-$600,000 houses and fall in love with those types of houses. But when you do your pre-approval, you're only qualified for a $300,000. That looks very different when it comes to shopping for a house. So that's why, and long story short, that's why you should go to your lender first, get your pre-approval, know your buying power, know how much money you're going to have to come out of pocket with, know what programs that are available that's going to help you buy the house. And then you have a clear picture of the type of house that you're looking for. Now, I might say, you're approved for $500,000. So go look for houses for $500,000. But your payment is going to be $4,800 a month. You might say, $4,800 a month for a mortgage, I don't want to pay that. Okay, well, what do you want to pay? You may say, I'm comfortable with paying 3,000 to 3,500. Okay, in that case, you want to look for a house no more than 425. That gives you an idea of, that puts your budget in mind, and that gives you an idea of what to look for when you're shopping. So that's why it's so important to talk to your lender first, get your pre-approval, go over your budget, know what type of money, what the money looks like, know what options are available, and then go shopping. So a lot of us don't do that. We go to the mall with our credit card and we just say, throw it in the bag. We don't go to the mall and say, I'm only spending $200. A lot of us don't. Some people do. I'm only spending $200. I don't care what's in here. I don't care what I see, what I like. I'm only spending $200. Think of getting your pre-approval and putting together your budget at that. You know, you're setting your budget, you're giving yourself a limit, and you're only going to look for homes. You're only going to shop for homes in that budget price. Okay, one of the other things I wanted to talk about was programs. Let's talk about programs. The biggest question I get from people is, what kind of programs do you have? A program is, and only is, the loan that you're using to buy your house, or the money that you're using to buy your house. FHA is a program, conventional is a program, VA is a program, USDA is a program. FHA 203K that allows you to buy your house and fix it up is a program. One-time close that allows you to buy land and build the house all in one loan. That's the program. Now, the local programs that we have out, like your county programs, for example, PG County has Pathway to Purchase. That is a down payment assistance program. DPA, or down payment assistance program, is different from a regular loan program. So when you're asking what type of programs do you have, you should ask what type of down payment assistance programs that you have. Let me tell you, and I tell everybody about down payment assistance programs. No money is free money. Down payment assistance programs were created, especially state and local government programs. They were created to help low-income, disenfranchised people buy houses. That's what they were created for. So at first they came out as grants. And then once they started paying out a lot of money and seeing no return, then they became second mortgages. So what does the second mortgage mean? I'm giving you the first mortgage to be able to buy the whole house. Down payment assistance programs is giving you a second mortgage or a second loan to be able to afford to buy the house, to be able to pay your down payment and your closing costs sometimes. So that's what the down payment assistance programs are, your DPA program. DPA program has its own guidelines, its own underwriters. You have to qualify for that. Their program and what their guidelines are is always different from what the first mortgage guidelines are. Your FHA, your VA, your USDA. There are different guidelines on these programs. So you got to take that in account. So for FHA, when we talk about debt to income ratio, your debt versus your income. If you make $5,000 a month, FHA says you can buy a house up to 45% of your income. So you can afford to pay your mortgage with everything included, mortgage insurance, taxes, uh, homeowners insurance, and any HOA fees or anything that's involved. That combined cannot be more than 45% of your monthly income. Okay. However, Pathway to Purchase says it can't be more than 35% of your monthly income. That 10% changes your numbers a whole lot. It can go from FHA saying you can afford to pay $3,000 a month to Pathway to Purchase saying you can afford to pay, if you want to use our program, you can afford to pay $2,500 a month. So that's the difference between the two. Now, Pathway to Purchase will also say there's an income gap. Because this is meant, this money is here to help people who don't make a lot of money be able to afford to buy a house. Your income can't be more than, for your family size, can't be more than this. For example, if you're a family of two, it's just you and your husband, your income can't be more than like $100,000 a month combined. And keep in mind the Pathway to Purchase, even if just the wife is going on the loan and the husband is not, they count the entire household income. So their income stipulations is for everybody, how much money is coming in the house for all adults in your household. So you got to be mindful of that. So I'm giving you an example of how, even if you go through their down payment assistance program, you have to meet their guidelines, and we have to underwrite 2 loans and make sure all guidelines are being met. 2, down payment assistance is in most cases a second mortgage or a loan. We have some in-house where we're going to loan you the money to put down on your home, on your purchase. So you can afford to buy this home and you can afford to keep this home. I mean, you can afford to get into this home, but you have to pay that money back. So if FHA says you need 3.5% to put down, we're going to loan you that 3.5%, which may look like on a $300,000 house, that looks like 3.5, 7, $12,000. We're going to loan you $12,000 to put down on this house. And then you're going to start paying that back. So it's over a 10-year span. So $12,000 at 10 years, you may pay back like $80 to $100 a month. So you're going to have your first mortgage that you're paying, and then you're going to be paying that $80 a month back to the bank for lending you that money to put down. That is a DPA program. Okay. So HPAP, for example, Pathway to Purchase, since we're talking about them. Pathway to Purchase allows you, if you stay in that house and stay in that loan for 10 years, that money is forgiven. And each year that you stay, year 1, you may have to pay 100% back. Year 2, 90% back. Year 3, 80% back. So each year you stay in that house and in that loan, you have to pay them less and less back. If you stay in that home and in that loan for the full 10 years, that money is forgiven and you don't have to pay it back. If for any reason you sell that house or refinance that loan, the money is due that you borrowed from Pathway to Purchase is due at the time of the sale or at the time of the refinance. So that's what a lien is. That's what a second mortgage is. If you do anything to the house, you sell it, you refinance the loan, then that money becomes due. So this is why I say no money is free money. There are stipulations with every program. If you can come up with the money on your own, like I said, with FHA, it's only 3.5% down. Back in the day, it was 20% down. 3.5 versus 20 is not a lot. So if it's 12,500 for a $300,000 house, you have 12,000 in your savings, or you have 12,000 in your retirement account, or if you build up value on your cash value life insurance that you can borrow against, take that money out of there, and that way you're moving your money from one investment vehicle into another. You're not taking from your retirement. You're not taking from your investment accounts. You're taking from it and putting it in your house, which is another vehicle that's going to help you gain equity. It's another investment vehicle. So you're not paying back the bank a loan with interest. You're actually moving that money from one vehicle and parking it into another, and you're starting to build equity in your house. So a lot of people say, oh, if I pull it out of my retirement, then that messes up my retirement and my money gonna be gone. No, not necessarily, because again, you took it out of there and put it into your house to start building equity and building your generational wealth. So that's how you think about it if you're thinking about borrowing the money from your 401k. I tell all people all the time. I had a young lady that pulled money out of her, or got money from her union. She was in a union, local 31 or whatever you want to call it. The union had a benefit for all union members that they gave them $10,000 to go towards the purchase of their home. So she called the union wrote a check, and that check went towards her closing costs. So check with your union. If you're in a union, hey, do you have any home buying benefits for us? A lot of people that work for large corporations, and I say this all the time, sometimes the corporations has a home buyer benefit, right? Depending on where you work. So if you work for a hospital or a large corporation like Pepsi or Google, call your benefits department, or call your benefits department. Hey, you guys have any first time home buyer benefits? It doesn't make you look crazy. You're just calling to see. It's a yes or no question. What if you didn't call and then you found out later that your job offers money towards your home purchase and you didn't ask? You may not have read through the whole benefits package, or you may not have read through the whole employee manual to know that money is available to you. But I implore everybody, the first call you want to make is to your benefits department. You guys have any benefits for first-time home buyers? They're going to either say, yes, we do, we'll give you this amount, or no, we don't. Oh, 5 minutes out of your day gone, and you actually made the phone call to check and see, right? So programs. As a first-time home buyer, you are not, let me say that again, you are not automatically given money towards the purchase of your house. That is just not how the industry works. So do not walk into as a first-time home buyer saying, yeah, I'm a first-time home buyer. I know there's some programs out here for me. There are programs out here for you, but you are not guaranteed to get those programs if you don't meet those guidelines. So always have in your mind, let me get my stuff together. Let me make sure I have this, and that. You want to have some money. Even if you get a program, you have to have some money, because the upfront cost, appraisal, 600, 650, you got to pay that up front. Home inspection could be anywhere from $300 to $600, depending on the size of the house. You got to pay that out of pocket. Credit reports, $80 to $100. You got to pay that out of pocket. Your earnest money deposit. What does that mean? When you go see a house, oh, I love it, let's write an offer. When you write that offer, you're going to need to put a deposit down on that house that says, I'm earnest. I'm going to go through with this sale. When we enter this contract, I'm going to make sure I go through with it. I'm just not going to walk away. Here's $3,000. You hold it as a deposit to show that I am serious about buying this house. That's what an earnest money deposit is. So make sure, oh, thank you for the likes, Roman. Thank you for joining on. So that's what an earnest money deposit is. So you got to have that. Remember, you got to have that $2,000-$3,000. It's usually 1% of the house sale that you put down as an earnest money deposit. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. The more you put down, the more you're showing the seller that you are interested and you're really serious about this house. So let's say you're getting a $300,000 house, you're going to give them, the title company, $3,000 Hold this as the earnest money to show you that I'm interested. Anything goes wrong and it's on your part, or you just decided that I don't want this house no more, I'm gonna go ahead and not buy it, then they could keep your $3,000. So that's what the earnest money deposit is. So if you don't have any money saved up, we can still get you down payment assistance. You may still qualify for HPAP or pathway to purchase. The seller may contribute to the sale and help you with your closing costs, but you still have to have that money up front to pay for your inspections, to pay for your appraisal, pay for your credit report, put your earnest money deposit down. So keep that in mind. So when you're planning and your goal, you have the goal, I want to buy a house, and we sit down and we come up with a plan. I want to make sure I save up this amount of money, or I want to make sure that I can pull this amount of money from this resource or this investment that I have over here. Um, Let me monitor my credit and see what my score is and monitor my score. Maybe there's some credit cards that I may be able to pay down to help boost my score so I'm in a better position. Um, Let me make sure that even if you're switching jobs, do that before you start the process. It is completely fine. You do not, and that's another myth that a lot of people think. I got to be on this job for 2 years. No, you just need a 2 year employment history. You don't need to be on the same job for 2 years. You just need a 2 year history. So don't let that deter you. So if you got a new job this month, and you just started, or you're starting in a week or so, you have that offer letter showing what your income is going to be. You have a history in the job market and you've worked consistently for the last 2 years, then you qualify. So you guys know or may not know, I've put it out there. I wrote a book called From Rent to Reign back in September, right? And it's just an ebook right now. There's an ebook and a workbook. So the ebook for both books together is $20. This book walks you through getting prepared for a house from start to finish. This book tells you a little bit about my history. I came from an impoverished, disenfranchised neighborhood. I never thought it was possible to buy a house. I didn't know what it took. So I didn't even think buying a house was a thing for me. Let me go get this apartment. So once I got into the real estate industry 10 years ago, and saw how easy it was to buy a house, I'm like, wait, this is not taught in our communities. It's not, nobody told us how easy it is. Nobody told us that all we had to do was X, Y, and Z, and we can buy a house and we can start building our wealth. So it's my job to put that information out there. So I wrote the book. It's called From Rent to Reign. It's on the Stand Store. I can put it in the comments. Um, and this book matched with the workbook. So the workbook, at the end of each chapter of the book, it gives you an activity to do. We got one on credit. It tells you go pull all three of your credit reports and let's go through it. Write down in your workbook what you want to work on, what you need to get rid of, what you don't need to get rid of, etc. Then we have one on budgeting and saving. In the workbook, it has your budget. Write down your budget, all of your expenses. What can you cut out? Monitor your expenses, et cetera, et cetera. What is your savings goal? What do we need to do to get you to your savings goal? That's in the workbook as well. So this book was designed that when you finish the workbook completely, you have your full plan of buying your house. So if you're in the beginning stages and your 2 year goal is to buy a house, get this book, read it, and fill out the workbook, and then follow that plan. I also offer one-on-one coaching where I will give you a copy of the book, copy of the workbook. We go through it together. We fill out that full workbook, and now you have your plan. You sign up for the coaching, then I will also check in with you. We're going to set goals. In 30 days, I'm going to check and see if we reach this goal. Or in 90 days, I'm going to check and make sure we reach this goal. So I'll be your accountability partner and all of that until we get to the time frame of what you set. for your goal to buy a house. So the whole point of me writing this book is called From Rent to Reign, is giving the information to our community, giving the information that we wasn't given in school. We wasn't, some of us, our parents don't know, so they couldn't give us that information, and nobody around us knew. We saw poverty. We saw people paying to rent a place. We saw everybody running to fill out Section 8 instead of thinking about buying a house, right? And there's nothing wrong with any of those programs. However, this book was written to be able to redesign or reprogram your mind into home ownership, wealth building, saving, responsibilities, things of that nature. So I'll link the book down here in the comment. And I'll soon have a physical book that you can buy a physical copy. Working on getting those printed out for you. But right now it's an ebook. You go on, you buy it, you download it, you print it out on paper, fill out the workbook. So the information is there for you. On my pages, I don't get into politics. No, I don't get into politics at all. But right now, this is a scary time in United States of America. A lot of people are thinking about surviving. How am I going to afford groceries this week? A lot of people are thinking about, I hope I don't get laid off my job this week. Or I've been in the job market searching and searching and searching, and I just haven't found something yet. Those are real. Those are real. But there are a lot of people who are thriving. The one thing I can say about this current administration, they reward home ownership. They reward wealth builders. They reward people who are building, pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. So that's where we want to be. If you're going to be in America, you want to focus on trying to build generational wealth. You may think you can. You're working a steady job, you got decent income, you got some money and some investment somewhere. You're ready. You deserve it. There's the fear of, oh man, if I leave this place renting, then I'm gonna have to do my own repairs. I'm gonna have to pay if something goes bad in my house. I'm gonna have to come out of pocket for that. I got to cut my own grass now. I got to do my own trash. There are solutions for that. There are home warranties you can get where you pay for a home warranty just like you pay for your insurance. And if something breaks down, like your HVAC, your refrigerator, your washer and dryer, et cetera, you get a leak, your plumbing goes bad, something like that, then you could call your home warranty company, and for a small deduction, they'll fix that for you. You start building relationships with contractors. You have a good relationship with the contractor, they look out for you to fix things around your house and to build things around your house. Have a home inspection done. When you do your home inspection report tells you the condition of your house. It tells you what to watch out for. It tells you, hey, you might need a new HVAC system in the next 5 years. Take that report that you get, and then you start planning accordingly, start pricing out what this stuff costs. A lot of this stuff can be a do-it-yourself project. YouTube University, TikTok University, Facebook University. There's a lot of things you can search up on these apps that'll teach you how to do certain things that you don't even have to pay anybody to do. Different upgrades, like changing out a vanity in your bathroom, it adds value to your house, and the vanity might cost you $500, and you could put it in yourself. Those types of things. Changing the tiles in your kitchen, a lot of that stuff you can do yourself. You just search up a video on these apps and, figure out how to do it and save yourself some money. So when you're in the mindset of wealth building and investments, You look at your house like this is your investment. Hey, you look at the mindset of this is your investment, right? So you have pride of home ownership. So you will want to, oh, I want to change this bathroom. I want to make it look like this. You might see some on HGTV and say, oh, that makes my house look a lot more luxurious, and it didn't cost that much to do. I see people making their little light fixtures like this little thing in here. That's something you can make yourself, but it makes your room look really, really elegant. So those are things that you can do on your own, and then you got pride in it because it's mine. I own this. This is mine. Make it look like I wanted to look, but I'm also gonna fix it up so my equity continues to build. Right? You can put the great thing about home ownership. You can put money into your house by spending very little, and you can make your house worth more. The more your house is worth, the more money you're able to pull out when you're ready. The more money you're gonna get back when you sell it, you know? And then you can sell it. Oh, now it's time to upgrade. I need a bigger house. My family's growing. Let me take this $200,000 of equity that I put in my house, that I paid into my house, and put that towards my dream house. So yeah, there's a lot of fear going on. There's a lot of things in this country that has us all afraid of what should I do? Should I stay? Should I go? Should I buy? Should I wait? Waiting is the biggest obstacle or the biggest issue because the more you wait, the less you're building your equity, the less you're missing out, the more you're paying towards rent to somebody else who's building equity. So you're building equity, but you're building it for somebody else. So have a conversation with me, have a conversation with yourself. Is this something that I want to do? Do I feel like I'm ready? What do I need to do to get ready? And we can answer those questions together. If you don't feel like, no, I'm not ready to reach out to you yet, Saundra, go buy the book, get the workbook from Rent to Rain, walk through that workbook and come up with your plan. Set your goals. Plans fail when you fail to plan. And say that again. Plans fail when you fail to plan. You may already be ready and thinking you're not, and you just don't know. Reach out. I don't mind anybody calling me to ask questions. That's what I'm here for. That's why I wrote the book. I want to help you. I want to help anybody that wants to buy and feel like they can't or feel like they're not ready, but you have a decent job, you have steady income, you have money saved, you have a decent credit score, and you're thinking, I'm not sure if I'm ready. Give me a call. Let's talk about it. Let's talk it over. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse or keep going around in circles, but I haven't been live in a long time. I go live on TikTok and I see you guys popping in and then you pop out. So I don't know. I'm streaming on a app on YouTube, so I can't really see who's on. I can see when somebody pops in, but I can't see who it is, so I can't address you. But I just want to thank everybody for taking time. Hey, Auntie, thank you for coming on. I want to thank everybody for taking the time out to join the live. I know I've been on here rambling for almost 40 minutes now, but this is important. You gotta fight fire with fire in this country right now with going on. And you know what the fire is? Money, assets, money, assets, markets, market share, stocks, bonds, AI, technology. That's what the fire is in this country right now. Real estate. You got to fight fire with fire. If you sitting around thinking, oh, it's going to get better, somebody's going to come save us, they're going to create programs, they're going to, not right now. Let's not focus on that. Let's join the fight and start building up our wealth. Once you buy your house, we have a financial division that can help you start building wealth and taking care of all of your finances. And join, give you the fire you need to fight fire with fire. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'll talk to you guys later. And if there's anything you need, you can reach me at 301-965-1155. 301-965-1155. You can leave a comment under this video, or you can inbox me on any of my social media platforms. I will link you can go to saundrafenwick.com, saundrafenwick.com. Please spell my name with the U, saundrafenwick.com, and you'll find links to everything that I do on my website. Just in case, I don't quite know how TikTok works with going back and finding this video. Do TikTok even hold the videos when I come? Anybody know that? If you know it, put the answer in the chat. I know on Amazon, on YouTube, this video is going to be on my YouTube channel forever. So I'll put it in the comments over there. But if there isn't a way I can put it in the comments here where you can go back later and watch this video and get the link, go to saundrafenwick.com, SaundraFenwick, saundrafenwick.com. Check out my website. On there is even a contact me form or information form. You let me know what you need help with, and I'll reach out to you. So fill out the form and I'll get back to you ASAP. So I'm here to help. I am a plethora of wealth in the real estate form. I learn from a lot of people. I have friends who are home inspectors, friends who are appraisers, friends who are realtors, a lot of realtors I partner with. Although I do the money, I do all things finance, and don't forget that, y'all. Do commercial. You want to buy a business or property to run your business out of. I do investments. If you want to buy investment property, I do multifamily. If you want to buy apartment complex, apartment building, anywhere from 1 to 300 units, I can get you financing for that. So I'm not just working with first-time home buyers. I know this video was more first-time home buyer focus, but investors, call me. If you're looking to get into investments, you're looking into buying an investment property, I have so many options for you. There are so many things out here available to us that loan programs, like I into those loan programs. The word program does not mean down payment assistance. There are several loan programs out here that can help you buy a property, one property rent, a multifamily building or property, a complex. You want to buy a retail strip center. You want to buy a mixed use building where you live upstairs and you run your business downstairs. If you want construction loans, land loans, all of that, all things real estate financing, I do. So go on my website, saundrafenwick.com. You can download my business card from there. Inbox me on these platforms if you need it, and I got you. All right, I love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I heard it's 70 degrees outside in the DMV area. Y'all go out there and enjoy, because it might snow tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining. I love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right, love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.